Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to tonight's edition of HR Mentorship Learning Series. Today we'll be having Tolulope Adetoke Asha, who will be speaking to us, who will be facilitating the topic, Managing Managers, Innovative Learning Plans for Upscaling Managers. It's a mouthful. Managing Managers, Innovative Learning Plans for Upskilling Managers. In the next 1 minute, I'll be reading a brief profile so that we can even get to know her better. All right. So if the slides can move so that we can read our profile, that will be beautiful. All right. So Tolulope is the founder of T-Girl Talks and convener of Afro Conference. She's a thoughtful, innovative thinker and an initiator of many good things. She holds a Bachelor of Agric in Agric Economics and Farm Management. Okay, she is also certified with HRCI. She has a PHRI certification, and she's an alumnus of Bowen University, Osun State. Tolulope has acquired extensive experience serving in various managerial roles and strategic committees of non-governmental organizations. She has a keen focus on results and brings seriousness through her ability to analyze, interpret, and explain legal framework regulating employment and thorough into achieving the organizational goals and objectives. She's an alumnus of Women in Successful Career, WISCA, and she's a proficient writer who has to accredit a number of life-changing articles and books. Her 8 years experience cuts across education, engineering, events, financial, food, and sports sector. You will see that we have someone with a well-rounded experience. Tonight, my privilege and pleasure to hand over the platform to Tolulope Adetoke Asha. Over to you, my sister.
Thank you so much, Mr. Oluyemi Adeosun. I'm grateful for this opportunity. And I've mentioned earlier that this group is a wonderful one, and it helps us to get a wide knowledge. And this is just basically a knowledge sharing, which I'm going to be talking about how to manage managers innovative ways. So these are just the outline. I want to read this to us. So let's get this started. So what is the definition? We are going to look at the roadmaps. Then what exactly are our types? The managers we want to manage. Do we know the types of the managers we want to manage? Also, how do we now build that upskilling program? Then what are the other ways to be able to modernize our training? And we're going to be in conclusion. All right, so my objectives for this purpose of this training tonight is number one, to ensure a better understanding of upskilling, to be able to ensure that everyone here tap into our creative juice, because I know we are all creative people in this platform, and we need to be able to tap back into our creative juice to upskill and in whatever is suitable for our own industry, and also to ensure that we adopt practicable methods. That's what we're going to be talking tonight. So let's look at the definition. So in the chat room, I want this to be interactive. So in the chat room, what do we think it's a manager? What's our own definition of a manager? Can we put that in the chat box? Manager, as a manager, what it means to be a manager? I'll be expecting your reply. So is a professional who takes a leadership role. And we know that leadership role is not just about position, it's not just about title, a leadership role in an organization. So you see that this is what have been highlighted. So leadership role, organization, that means there is a place that is organized, there is an institution. I'm aware that we might have some people that are, long government organization. We have people that might be startup business owners. We have people that are business owners. So we are looking at someone that can, in a professional way, take a leadership role in an organization and manages employees. So if you have people in a non-government organization with say that people that can manage the volunteers. So we are going to dissect this topic one after the other. So we've talked about who a manager is, then also managing. What are we managing? Who are we managing? How do we go about that? So managing is having executive control or authority. Executive control or authority. So I like the word authority because control might sound somehow, but authority, we have the authority to be able to do, this is what we are supposed to do. Then next, innovative learning. So when we talk about innovative learning, what exactly are we talking about? As a primary goal in the development of self-directed learners. So now I want us to know that as we are talking about managing managers, we know that the person that is managing the managers is human. The managers that we are actually want to upskill so that they can manage other team members well, they are human, and other people in the organization, in the institution, they are also human. So we want to be able to know our developmental of self-directed learners. So we need to understand the fact that someone that wants to learn, someone that wants to upskill, is this person ready to learn? Is this learning a developmental form? And we also know that learning is just not about just books. We have other areas we can learn and enhance our understanding. So they are flexible with their knowledge and learn as they go. And one of the things we're going to achieve in this training and this knowledge sharing is about the fact that every organization, every institution, we must make sure that it gives room for learning as they go, because we keep learning, relearning, and we have to unlearn, and we keep to adapt to some situations, in the sense that what has worked for us in the past 10 years is not going to work in the next 2 months. It's not going to work in the next 2 weeks. What we are learning right now, probably is not going to work in the next quarter. So we need to be able to understand that we are learning as we go, we are adapting to the situation, and you are using critical thinking, and simply put, learn by exploring. What is exploring? We learn as we explore new frontiers, and it comes in various ways, which is talking about physical, technological, and mental. So most of the time we're talking about upskilling, we usually look at the techie part. Oh yes, how can we use a better software? How can we digitalize? All these things are going to be part of this training, but we just need to know that it can be physical, it can be technological, and it can be in a mental form. In mental form of how do you enhance, how do you get people that you are working with, the people you want to manage, how do you want them to be able to know what exactly they are learning? So I will go further. So upskill, what's upskill? Upskilling focuses on improving current employee skill sets, usually through training so that they can advance in their jobs and find different roles and opportunities within the organization. So it's just about improving their skill sets. And it's important for us as we also, upskilling is also a way of retaining current employees, because by the time they are good with their skill set, they can always move into the next opportunity in the organization. So upskilling allows organizations to close the digital talent gap and fill their open positions while maintaining their current workforce and creating employee strengthening and learning opportunities. So now we've talked about the definition. So we know who is a manager, who is taking a leadership role. We know what managing means. We know what upskilling means. But what exactly? How are we going to? Don't forget that the topic is managing managers. So how exactly are we going to do? What is the roadmap for this upskilling? Are we just saying it, or we are just going to be doing it? So we need to understand the roadmap and know the nitty-gritty of this particular topic. So I'll go further. So when we talk about the roadmap, first thing is clear vision. So I want us to drop on the chat box what is exactly his vision. So on the context of this particular training, that we need to know that the people we are talking to, we want to upskill these managers to be able to manage their team members properly. And the chain goes down. So how exactly are they clear about the vision. So we need to let them know that they should be clear about the vision of the organization. It is important to make the vision clear to your manager. For instance, it's possible, I remember consulting for a particular organization, and there is a particular manager that is doing so well, but at the end of the day, this manager has her own agenda, and the organization is planning around her. So we need to know that, okay, this person has a clear vision. Does he understand what the vision of the organization is? Is this person aligning to this? Because we need to know so that you are not just trying to upskill someone, and yet the person leaves, and you are like, oh, but we think we are on the same page. You have to know we are on the same page, because if someone is on the same page, how will the person translate the other vision to you, to the team members? So what will be the use of an innovation without a clear vision? So now, if sometimes if we say, okay, what's the vision of this organization? To be global, to be this, to be that. Are people really understanding that? Do they really understand that? Do they understand the vision? Do they understand the mission and the core values of the organization? Because we need to understand this. Because if we are going to innovate, we are going to, because innovation is more of a thinking, is more of thinking. So if a manager is going to think and innovate and know that what are the things that are going to work, that will be tailor-made to this organization, to this particular unit. If the person is not clear about the vision, the person might just be innovating what will not be useful or probably can crumble the vision of the organization. Let's not forget that whatever we are upskilling managers, we are trying to upskill our employees, all in the name of what, to be able to have a better output, to be able to stand out in the industry, to be able to get to the point that we know that, okay, we have authority in this field we've chosen. So as HR professionals, how much of it do we understand that these managers will talk about, oh, they are the stakeholder, one of the stakeholders in the organization, how much of this vision do they understand, do they even align to? So how do you think if you're not clear about the direction of the organization? That's a question. So the roadmap, first thing first, just that we are building the foundation. And I'm aware the last training we had was talking about building starting HR department from the scratch. So you understand, so it's possible we are in an organization that have not really been able to itemize, okay, these are our vision, they are not clear enough. Now that we are in the picture, I want to upskill these managers, we need to sit them down. Are you clear about this vision? So another thing is, as top managers, because I'm aware we have business owners there, we have CEOs, we have head of HR or other business managers. We have to be vulnerable. So vulnerability in this sense, in this context, is being open and transparent. So this is what we do in this organization. We set the vision clear. We understand that we are being practical. Let's not forget that we now have generational gap in the system. We have Gen Zs in those workplaces, we have millennials, we have baby boomers. There are some organizations that are in there maybe 50 years, 100 years, 30 years. So there is no way we are not going to have a mix of generation. So how practicable are we? You know, I remember maybe there is this joke that people say that most of the parents in the olden days, they're always the first in their school. They always say, when they were in school, they were the first. And at the end of the day, these children, they will find out that it's not all the time that these parents are actually the first. But how practical are you going to be? Because if your managers can't connect to you as the head, they can't connect to the organization, it will be very difficult for them to be able to transcase that to other team players. And like mentioned from the upskilling, is talking about technological, it's talking about development, it's talking about mental upskilling. So we are not just talking about just books, but we are talking about how to develop our managers, for them to be able to do the right thing, to move in the organization, and to be able to move as they adapt to the situation as the business shifts. Then another thing that is important is we have to treat our managers as partners. So if I'm saying I want to, so I'm upskilling you. So it's not about you are entitled to. So they don't have this entitlement mentality. They don't have this. You also don't have the. I've done this for you. You just have to deliver. There is a connection. There is like, okay, we are partners in this. So as much as we are partners, we have to get this done. So we should not forget that they are humans. We are also humans. So this will help them to have this ownership spirit that, okay, yes, as far as I've signed into this organization, yes, I'm all in this organization. Yes, there's also other things that we do, okay, work integration and all that, but in them realizing the fact that I'm signing because I believe in this vision, I want to move in this vision, I want to grow this vision, I want this business to move. Then I believe I am here. So I always say this, that for instance, if you have 10 billion in a sack, it will run around. The 10 billion won't stand up and be typing. So everybody also matters in the organization. Then these managers we are talking about that we want to upskill them so that they can really do and perform well, we have to treat them as our partners. When they see that we are treating them as the partners, they also have this ownership, because sometimes as humans, they will be thinking, what is in it for me? What am I up to? I'm going to gain if I get this knowledge? But we need to let them come to that understanding. Then flexibility of time, because at this level of managers, they have the flexibility of time. Flexibility of time is that they even this upskilling is these things that are operational is being taken care of, and they can focus on the brain work. They can be able to think, have self-developmental activities, which help them to have time and also be able to train others. So for the context of this topic, these are the roadmaps we were looking at. All right, so I also mentioned the fact that we can see, I know we have men in this chat through, and if I say, okay, for instance, sometimes we as managers, as we want to give incentives, we would not like to go to watch a match. Of course, if I have a golden ticket to go and watch a match, is it Old Trafford or Emirates? I'm an Arsenal fan, so I would love to to go and watch man in Emirates. All these things. Probably want to have a trip, vacation in Bahamas. Some people like spa. They want to have a spa treatment, and they want someone to have yoga session. So these are the things that we talk about: reward and recognition. Sometimes it's important for us to also make sure that we ask the managers, because is this going to be beneficial for you? Is this what you need at this particular time? So because all this is just a foundation for us to be able to know that before you upskill me, before you upgrade me, I have to have a balance. You understand? You have to have the understanding of this that we are into, of this particular business at it, because we have different sectors here. So I won't really mention a particular sector, but what I'm saying, I believe I want you to adopt the ones that can work for you in your organization. So good reward and recognition. So everything is not always going to be monetary, because we are talking about monetary. It also depends on how financially buoyant, how financially healthy the organization is, and that you can be able to accommodate some things. But if you cannot accommodate everything, it can be tailored made to your to what is suitable for this particular employees. Prefer weekend in a hotel, spa, yoga session? Do you want us to supply beverage? This kind of work in all these food industries, maybe you just supply and all that. So that's about that. Then get their buy-in. It's almost like you are involving them, you are engaging them, that this is how we want the business to look like, this is how we want, this is how we go. And we don't over-promise them. We don't say, oh, we are going to do this for you. You just have to be clear, be vulnerable with them. But caution is to be taken to know what are the things to say per time. And also, of course, we have to digitalize. So now, upskilling, we want to train, we want to ensure that most of the time, when we talk about upskilling, there is the technology gap that we want to address, we want to bridge in the organization. So are we making sure that we are not just adopting any form of digitalization, because it's better that what we are doing, we are using the right tool and software suitable for each role. So I won't want to call some softwares. I don't know if people are working in such organization, probably I just won't call some software, but we know what digitalization is. Now, let us go to the basis. So for instance, if you have been running your organization for the past, let's say 20, 30 years, that we don't have all these softwares, we don't have some the people that we hire, they might not even be technology savvy, they might not really know how to make use of the computer. Do you just tell them that, yes, we are moving, everything is now going to the cloud, no more paper filing, no more this, no more that? Are we just going to push it to them like that? Are we going to dump it on them? Or are we going to create an awareness? And one thing that happens to people that sometimes when they feel, sometimes people leave an organization or they just because they feel that they cannot adapt. But if you give them a soft landing, soft pedal that, okay, you know what? This is what is going to enhance your work you'll be doing. You will just see this is how you go about it. Are we going to go down to each department level that this is the way we want to run it? We need to understand our aim and our goal of upskilling our managers, our employees, is for them to be able to do the right thing and for them to be effective and efficient, and for us to be able to have best input to get a maximum output. So we just don't dump it on them that, okay, if you can undo this, that's all. If you cannot, you make use of this software, that's it. Then we can, let's look for people that can undo this. Let's also ensure that we're able to transition them right. We're able to relate with them because they are not scared that they cannot do this beyond them. We know that our brain can adapt, can accommodate this. So we just have to be able to pitch that to our managers, because most of the time all these old managers that might be a bit resistance to this knowledge we are bringing in, because they don't really know what it entails for them. When they understand the fact everybody wants to get their work done seamless. So in the line of that digitalization, we can definitely have our reverse mentorship. And I believe this is not new to us. So reverse mentorship is actually to engage the young ones in mentoring the older generation and with technology, because this generation, the older generation can teach them how to go about this work. What are the skills in terms of human skill, emotional intelligence they can apply in doing their job. They can have time to be patient enough to listen that if you want to climb this corporate ladder, this career you want to focus on, there are some things you need to watch. That's the older generation can do that. The younger generation can also now come and say, sir, ma'am, this is how to make use of this new technology that we are in that. Even in the system that you have intra-mentorship in the system, it also helps you to retain your workers. It also helps you to know that this young generation, they have the fact that, okay, I'm in the space of people that are practical, that they also want to learn from me. So if they are really able to learn from me as a younger generation, then I should also be able to listen to them and also gain from their wealth of experience. Then discipline is key. We have to set boundaries as well. And I also want us to be able to create awareness that younger generation should be able to understand that, how does this older generation want to be addressed? How will you want them? Because older generation should not say, this Gen Z, they don't want to learn. Because it's not this Gen Z, they just don't want to learn, they're just so fast, they are not patient enough. And the Gen Z are saying, these old people, they can't just understand the fact that I can do this in the next 2 minutes. So it's just about sitting down to understand each other. But at the same time, discipline is key. We have to have some policies, some things that checkmates the fact that whatever we are bringing, the digitalization we are bringing, the upskilling we are bringing, is not going to crumble the business. So in the chat room, I want us to talk about types of team or managers. Types of teams and managers. Can we drop it in the chat room? Let's drop it in the chat room. Do we have types of teams or managers? Let's see, I'm checking. Okay, yeah, so what are the kind of types of managers that we have? Okay, thank you so much for dropping it in the chat room. Yes. Okay, so we basically, for the context of this training, we basically have two that I'm going to share. And that the reason why I put team or managers is because they are humans, and even as volunteers, we just have two types of managers and volunteers. So we have, we have the in-group. This sets of people buy into the vision of the organization. They are the ones that go extra mile. They are passionate. They are effective. They are efficient. They go all the way. They put in their effort. You know them. They are few, but they exist. Then we have another set. Another set we have is art group. They are a set of people, they follow strictly with their job description. They don't go the extra mile. So what is it? When I come to work, 8 by 5, I'm done. When it's 5:01, I'm already done. And they will come to work 7:49, leave at 5 o'clock. Not necessarily, I'm not trying to say the time clock in the sense that, okay, I'm going to give me all what I want to do. Everything has to be within my job description. Going the extra mile, doing some other sleepless night because of this kind of organization, probably tax ahead, they will not. So it's the same thing as for upskilling. So some people are just, they want to go all the way to acquire knowledge, to be able to do well in their job role. But some, they will be waiting for the organization until organization send them on training or conferences. They don't put on any other extra. But the fact remains that one of the time is, as managers that want to upskill these managers, we intend to focus on the in-group. And let us know the fact that we need both in-group and out-group set of people in any team. We need to identify them and be able to treat them fairly. So we are going to be looking at being able to treat them in all fairness. We are not asking them to, we are not going to force them, but they will know that those that are in group, they will actually be rewarded better, because the more you work, the more you stand a chance of getting more responsibility, and the more you're having responsibility, this is a sign that, okay, you need more upskilling, more training for you to be able to handle that particular position. And we also know the fact that most of the time when we are training, when we are promoting in the organization, we promote because somebody is good at their technical abilities, at their operational duties. But when we promote, we need to understand the fact that we need to upskill them in their leadership skill, how they can be able to manage people. Because someone can manage equipment so well, doesn't mean the person can really manage people very well. So we need to be able to understand that fact. So we need to know that we have just two sets of people anywhere, as volunteers, as employees, as managers, as stakeholders, as investors. We can even have some in-group investors as well, that they do home. Some they just put in their money, is it increasing or not? They don't want to hear any other story. So we have this kind of two people. So we need to understand them, identify them, profile them, and know how to treat them in all fairness. We don't need to force out group to be an in-group, or probably an in-group to be an out group, but we should know we're going to have these two people in our team. So here we are almost getting to where we are going. So how to build a successful upskilling program. Now, it's not just a one-off event. So it's not just one-off, it's for us to be able to augment the knowledge, skills, and competencies that help employees advance their careers. So as they advance in their careers, they know that, okay, they have opportunities in this organization. For instance, people are, as much as we are looking at, we want to hire good employees. employees also that they are good. They also want to know the kind of employer they want to work with. So we have this employer, of course, employer value proposition. Or are we employer of choice? So if you want to hire me, do I want to work in your organization? So it's a long-term upskilling argument. And we know that when people are looking at, okay, we have what is called good pay, good job, good environment, good training. And we also know that everybody has what motivates them, what is their, what we allow them to stay in an organization, what we allow them to want to join an organization. So when we talk about good training, so some people will definitely join or stay in an organization when they see that, oh, I can get training in this organization. My 2 years in this organization can equate to like 4 years in another organization. So I can train, I can learn, I can also indeed with the organization where there is intra mentorship, coaching, allowing for creativity. Yes, I think I will be able to stay, and it allows us to also know, okay, this person, the next person we want to put into this position, this person has empathy. He knows how to carry everybody along. He knows how to dissect the vision of the organization, and what the information that is getting from the top management is cascading it right well to other team members. It's not about, oh, you people should find your way. You understand there are different kinds of managers that we have. So this is a long-term investment, and the ROI is actually high. So these are the things we need to know. So our plan is not just one-off plan, it's not just a 2023 plan. It has to be a long-term plan. So even if as HR professionals, as managers, as we are even exiting an organization, or we are leaving a particular place, we should have that template. So whoever is taking over the position can see and be able to run with it. Then investing in skills learning enable both performance and reliability of their workers. Of course, it's a both way. So if you've upskilled someone that can be able to accommodate new role, the capacity, the competence, of course, it will show in the performance, and it will be able to be, the person will be reliable. And let's not forget that we should link that reliability to, first of all, clearing with the manager. For instance, there is another organization that we were consulting for is okay, they were more of an architecture organization firm, or how do I put it? So this particular person is actually moving forward, and to stop being an architect. So imagine if the organization has upskilled, trying to plan, or want to give them trainings, international trainings that will help them to move in this. But this person personally, if you don't call this person to sit the person down, this person is already planned that, once I leave this organization, maybe in the next 1 year or 2 years, I'm done with architecture. So it's possible our engineers, maybe they are looking at, oh, once I'm done in this organization, I'm done with engineering work, I want to focus, maybe I want to go into tech, I want to go into other things. And this particular person actually was going to fashion world. The person already has the fashion business, modeling, so we need to, that's why it's important to clear with them, to know, are they clear about the vision? Is their own vision, their own personal goals, is it aligned to the organization? So we know we are doing the right thing. We are doing the upskilling with the right set of people, in the aim that they are also going to pass that training to all their team members. And the team members will also have this passion to be able to have this ownership spirit, to be able to run the business well. Like I've mentioned, this employees want to understand future career opportunities. Yes, it's like I need to know how I'm going to, as I'm growing, I understand the fact that whatever I'm learning, I'm also going to put it in this organization. So is the organization also developing me? So everybody needs to know, okay, the competencies and capacity they need to get there. So they need to know, how am I going to grow in this organization? So I need to know what training I need. Then as HR managers, as HR that we are managing other people, how we are going to call these line managers? and also upskill them and let them know that these are the capacity. Let's give. So sometimes people will just be restricting technology, restricting training because they feel like, oh, someone wants to take their cheese away from them. So we are going to explain to them that the cheese will always be moving. So in as much you want to have a better cheese, you want to smell a good cheese, then you have to upgrade yourself. So what is, if what you are doing currently, we don't need it in the next 2 months, are you still going to be able to maintain, to stay in this organization? And meanwhile, as organization as well, we need to know that we need to start training these people for them to be able to move. Because if policy, anything, threats affect one part of our business, these people are just going to be resourceful in other units, and so that we won't be looking for new or fresh set of people to address those challenges. So like we all know that after COVID actually gave a different perspective to how things have been done in the organization, and it's important to be able to answer this kind of critical questions so that we don't lose out on our great talent. People might leave, not necessarily because they have better offer, not necessarily because they are actually go traveling out of the country, but they might just leave because they feel probably they are stopped. There is nothing that is challenging for them. And I always tell organizations, I always tell HR managers, as we are upgrading people, as people are going to be upskilling, you know, when you upskill someone, you are exposing this person's mind. Once you expose somebody's mind, you are not going to give them the roles they are doing. You have to enrich their job duties, their job responsibilities, so that they are still challenged, they are still knowing that they are applying what they've learned in these new challenges. But if they are just still at the same way they are, they get bored, they feel that they are plateaued, and they are looking elsewhere to make sure that they can harness what they've learned and apply. So we have to be conscious of when we say we are promoting, when we say we are sending people on conferences, we are sending people on, we are asking them to learn this digital thing, are they going to be using it? So what's the use of the knowledge they have that they won't be able to apply? So if they see they cannot apply and they know that they know this thing and there is no way of exploring it, they might actually move to another employer that wants them to harness that particular skill. Okay, so careers, yes, it's important for employees to know that their careers are being owned by them. They own their career, they know where they want to go to, they know what they it's not the company that says this is where you are supposed to go, but we have to support, managers need to support them, and the company should enable it. So empower employees to own their career development, yes. And I've mentioned this, that we need to make sure that the people we hire, the people in the system, they can fit into more than one role, so that they can shift as the business shifts. So if organization is moving, if things are happening, they can also shift. The employees are fluid. They can actually be able to adapt to the challenges of the business. Then, like I've mentioned this part, that one of major challenges that organizations forget that managers are employees, and employees need to be supported, are humans. So we need to understand the fact that employees, managers are also employees, just like most times HRs, the CEOs also forget that HR is also an employee. So we need to be able to balance that. As much as we are training them, we want them to be able to be better at their job so that they can do well with their team members. We should also know the fact that they also have their needs, and we should be able to harness that part. So, but their careers is owned by them. They should own it. They should know this is where I want to be. I want to be, after saying this organization, this is where I feel I should be. Okay, what are the things that will take me there? So we need to support them. That's why the clarity is important. And we need to know if their own vision aligned to the organizational vision, and also are they planning to continue in this level? So if you are training somebody to be, somebody that is planning to stop the career or to stop the profession, and you're trying to pull the person to do more, the person is already out of the system. So we need to get this sorted. Okay, we should be able to show where the ideas go. I've mentioned this, I'm also checking my time. So it's a good investment, return on investment, to inculcate individual goals with organization learning and development strategy. So we are not just saying, oh, Mr. A, we are going for this training. If it's not aligned, because one of the things that will make them to really be eager to learn is if they know that, oh, for instance, I want to be a global HR. Whatever it is I'm learning, whatever opportunity I'm seeing is to be a global HR. So it's helping me to enhance, the company is enabling me to grow in my career. Of course, I would want, but if you are telling me that, oh, because you're HR, yes, you need to know some technology, and you're not asking me to, okay, you can stop this HR, go and learn how to code, start coding because maybe the organization is switching to something. We need to be able to understand, oh, is this where the organization going? Am I also going to that place? We need to be able to identify that. It's important for us to sit them down and know, okay, this is training. Okay, then also we realize that we have Gen Zs. Yes, there have been complaining that there are some online trainings that are not effective and there are some that are effective. Now, looking at especially those in IT, some of them might really prefer to have an online training and to be effective. So we also need to know which one is best suitable for this particular training and development. So there are some that are going to be at their pace. Even universities, international universities, they do some master's degree or MBAs at your pace. There are some at your pace, there are some you have to be in the school, there are some that is going to be hybrid. So they have these options. So in an organization, we need to have our options that is suited for our own industry, that is tailor-made for our own business. So that we make sure that these people can learn, they are even eager to learn in their own preferred way. Some people learn by listening, some people learn by saying, some people learn by doing. So we need to be able to marry the three together, and whatever suits each individual or each department, we should be able to bring that in, and it will be so we cannot, anything cannot be done one cap fits all. It's not going to work in this position. So we cannot say one cap fits all. This is how they do it in non-engineering organizations. This is how they do it in interior decor industry. No one can fix all. Or this is how we are going to do it in this organization. What we work in accounting department will be different from what HR and accounting can be a bit related, but it's not going to work in those in engineering, manufacturing. So we cannot have one cap fix all. But we need to be able to identify and tap into our creative juice to know what works for us in our own field. Then retaining, developing employees, of course, organizational growth and strategic position. Yes, we need to. It also leads, upscaling also leads to more of retaining staff, succession planning, and it's this is not a one-off activity. It's something that needs to go on, and the organization at the end of the day should be able to be a learning organization. The organization is learning, is adapting, the employees are learning, they are adapting, they are seeing the future in their work they are doing, it's aligning to their own goals. They know that, okay, they are growing, as they are developing, they are also resourceful, they are also valuable, they are not scared that, oh, the organization is dropping them at some point. And once they get the right and accurate training and the upskill, the digital gap that they need in their role, there is no way they won't even perform. And once there is performance, when performance productivity is good, there is no way once we are productive, we are going to be profitable. So productivity leads to profitability. Profitability leads to increase the revenue. And once the revenues increase, the stakeholders are happy, we can attract investors. Then investors that want to come to our business, they also check who are our competence level of our employees. So if I know that, oh, these employees are competent, they can handle this matter, yes, I will be eager to even invest in the organization. So it's all cut across our activity, so how to ensure that our stakeholders are happy, employees are happy, and customers are happy. Okay, so the last I guess it's my last slide. So 6 ways to modernize your employee training, create an employee lifestyle. So we just need to adapt what works for us in our own organization, everything in encompassing in our lifestyle, in our different, I'm sure that what we work in a particular state might not work in another state, what work in another country might not work in another country, in one continent is great. We sure needs to create an employee lifestyle. You know what employee lifestyle is? We need to create our trainings around every aspect of their life. So even by the time they are exiting the organization, they know that, oh, this organization has passed through me, I've also passed through organization. And sometimes even some other organization that wants to adopt or that wants to probably hire your ex employee, they should be glad that, oh, this person is coming from this person. Oh, that's fine. Just like I just like, because I have from my profile I mentioned sport. You know, they're just like poaching when you are transferring a player to another club. Definitely, it depends on the club that the player is coming from. If the place is fine, definitely they want to join. So use extended reality. We have to be realistic about what is going on. So what exactly do we need? We should be able to know what exactly is the reality, extended reality, culture of ongoing learning. I've mentioned that we need to foster that culture. We need to use a learning management system. We also make sure that we adopt a blended learning program. Like I mentioned, everybody has the way they learn so far. It can be hybrid, it can be online, it can be physical. It can also be doing, seeing, listening, every form that actually we be able to touch the role of what we do. They engage learners through gamification. So even some organizations, they do gamification for employing people. So whatever works for us, and some, for instance, you cannot do gamification for some roles from some kind of businesses that are not in that capacity. But whatever works for us, we can always find a way to make sure that we adopt the ones that actually works for us. And in conclusion, as your organization considers opportunities to upskill your employees, empowerment, engagement, and planning are critical. Listening to your employees' needs and wants is important, and acting on them will position you for future success, because when you act on them, and I always tell people that when even organization and their top manager, when you say that we are giving room for you to listen, you can say that there are some things that we can do now, there are some things that are for long term, there are some things that are for mid-term. So they know that you are listening to them and you are actually implementing them. Definitely, it will give room for them to also know that, oh, this organization has our good intention. Then they will be able to, as humans, be able to put in their best. So I believe with these few words of mine, I've been able to put some clarity in the fact that upskilling is important. We need to manage our managers well, making sure that they have this ownership spirit with our partners. And once they get our buy-in, when they get the buy-in of the fact that the organization has a good intention in mind, they're able to also put that in their attitude to work and cascade that to their team members. Thank you very much, sir. I'll take questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your brilliant presentation. So anytime from now, we'll be taking questions, comments, and contributions. You can stop sharing your screen. Let me just share a few comments, and let me also attempt to do some brief recap. Okay, so I'll do that in the next few minutes. So if you like to talk, please raise your hands. And if you like to drop your thoughts in the chat box, also feel free to do so. A few things I like to say with respect to upskilling managers through innovative ways. One of the things we can consider doing is what they call micro-learning modules. And what's a micro-learning modules? It means short training modules, typically between 5 to 10 minutes, that focuses on specific skills that are required for managers to succeed, okay? This approach can help break down complex topics into smaller, more digestible chunks, which can help managers learn more efficiently and effectively. So imagine people have micro modules, maybe 5 to 10 minutes every day, or once in a week. But people keep learning and they keep developing themselves. It's not all trainings that must be a whole day or a half day. Okay, so take note of that. Micro learning modules can be very useful and very, very relevant. Another thing I would like to highlight is virtual reality simulations. Okay, you can also use virtual reality to create immersive solutions, all right, that allow managers to practice and refine their skills in a safe and controlled environment. Okay, this approach can help managers develop the confidence and the competence they need to succeed in real-world scenarios. All right. The third thing, okay, I'd like to say quickly is collaborative learning. All right. This encourages managers to work together to share what? Best practice, their challenges and their solutions. Okay, so when you gather managers together within the organization and they share experiences, they share best practices, they share challenges, they share solutions. You also encourage your managers to network with managers in other organizations who do similar things. And maybe they hang out for coffee, for tea, for dinner. So for example, maybe you have accountants, encourage them to function within ICANN community, ICANN society. You see, you meet with other people. It's not all mistakes you must make. If a colleague in a sister company or even competitor can share one or two insights, and it will save you time, save you money, and also enrich your experience. This approach can help foster a sense of community, promote active learning, and provide opportunities for peer-to-peer coaching. This is very important. Just to mention, I know a few people in HR mentorship who have invited their entire HR team to join because they know that both passively and actively through the WhatsApp platform, the various meetings we do, hangout sessions we do, people are learning in a collaborative manner. The fourth point I'll quickly like to make with respect to innovative learning approaches to our managers in the organization is called case study. I don't know if anybody has gone to maybe Lagos Business School or Harvard Business School or any of these business schools. One thing that will jump at you, whether it's a one-day program, a one-week program, a three-day program, is what? They use a lot of case studies. And what's a case study? A case study is typically a real-life story or scenario. And then people get to either read it and come up with solutions, or people get to, maybe as a group or as a team, read it and unpack the case study. What are the key issues? What are the options? What are the alternatives? What are the solutions? Now, of course, all case studies are real, but depending on the situation, they may change the name of the organization and of the players for either anonymity or confidentiality. But there are many case studies too that there is no need to change anything, maybe because it's in public domain or even an outcome of a court case, so everybody sees it. Again, imagine maybe once in a month in your management meeting, on your sessions, you look for a real life case study, that speaks to your organization or to your industry, and you get them to discuss it. Don't wait until you have a big problem to encourage your managers to think, rub minds, share knowledge. Okay, I'll mention 2 or 3 more quickly. You can also look at mentorship programs. My colleague, Tolu Lotasha, mentioned it. There's reverse mentoring. So people can learn from their junior. So maybe you have a lot of Gen Zs who are maybe very tech savvy, IT savvy. You mentor your senior managers. You'll be shocked at how this will foster knowledge. And suddenly you see that the so-called older managers will begin to admire the younger managers as they begin to pick up new skills. She already mentioned gamifications, okay, which is incorporating game-like elements into learning activities. So gamification means, the way we like games. Back in the days, we have Nintendo. Okay, what games do they play now? Okay, PS5. Those games. Imagine a game, something as interesting as that, is now, learning is embedded in it. So people are enjoying the learning because it's fun, it's exciting, and then it's building their competencies and capabilities. And my final is to support the brilliant job Tolulope has put together for us this evening is personalized learning. Personalized learning, which is tailor learning plans, okay, to meet the specific needs and interests of individual managers. This approach can help managers develop skills that are directly relevant to their job, their career aspirations, and their responsibilities. Okay, just let me give a recap of what Pasha has been dishing out to us so generously, actively, so eloquently in the last 1 hour. Also, for the benefit of those who might have joined this session a little behind. Thank you. So again, please, if you'd like to either ask our facilitator a question, you want to share your thoughts, or you have some comments around the subject matter, again, around the subject matter, please quickly raise your hands and let us give you the floor. Anyone. If nobody is talking, I'll call out people to share their thoughts. I would like to hear Deborah Dumbry. Please share your thoughts. I would like to hear Olafemi Aluko. Please share your thoughts. Let me see who else I can call out. I'm tempted to call my very good friend Loretta to say something. If your current location and environment can allow you to talk. Okay, can anyone say something? Or should we call it
okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, well,
thank
yeah,
you.
well.
Thank you very much. The facilitator did justice to the topic, and it was quite impactful for me. And even when she spoke about the topic we had yesterday on building HR from the scratch, and I really appreciate our input in this topic. I would just like to say that it is important for us to communicate our plans in whichever way, because again, these people we are talking about, these managers are adults, and like she said, sometimes like what is in for me, what do I have to benefit? Most times, adults are the most difficult people to deal with. If they are babies now or they are teenagers, you can tell them, come together, you need this, you need that, you need this kind of training or skills, you need to upskill and all that. They would listen. But for adults and managers at that, you need more of communicating what really is the benefit for them, because they will think you are just here to waste my time. When we talk about upskilling them, they may not even grasp what is in there, except you are able to communicate well. So I would say effective communication skills is very important and key for us to have a very innovative learning plans for upskilling our managers. For us to be able to upskill them, that plan we should talk about again is communication is very important. And after talking about communication, we should also see how we can also make these managers responsible, meaning that once they know that when I'm responsible for this particular thing, or when I'm skilled in this area, I also need to cascade. I need to bring it down to my team members. I need to also make them understand these things that I've learned. More of training the trainer. I've been trained, I've been skilled, or I've been impacted on this area. I need to impact my people. So when they have that at the back of their mind, when they learn also for their people. So knowing that I will be teaching people afterwards. So you make them responsible when it comes to learning and development aspects as well. And this is only what I'd like to share. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing.
Okay. Femi Aluko, are you saying it's a clarion call to say? Okay, let me see if there's.
Thank you, sir. She has shared what I would have shared, sir. Thank you very much.
Oh, so Deborah is now reading minds. Okay, that's good. That's good. All right. Okay, Femi, do you want to say something on, just to emphasize a tiny bit of what Deborah said, something around, training effectiveness, and getting full value for the training. For example, she mentioned train the trainer. So do you want to do a post-training evaluation, maybe 3 months after, 6 months after? You want to say something around that? How to optimize the training benefits?
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Well, I would say that, it's been a very great session so far, the facilitator and also the comment afterwards. And thank you so much for putting this together, sir. It's always been a blessing. So what I would say is, number one, being able to adapt the training to the needs of the participants, so that we ensure that we're actually getting value for the training that we are deploying. And that would mean that before we deploy those trainings, we do like a pre-assessment sort of, so that we get what's the current knowledge level of the participants regarding the topic we want to deploy. That would then help us tailor that training to suit their particular needs. Also, being able to understand, I believe the facilitator mentioned this, able to understand what is the best way to train each person, because we have different kinds of learners. All right, so people that they learn by by seeing things, they're visual learners, they're audio learners, they're kinesthetic learners. That means they prefer to actually put their hands on what they want to learn. So being able to actually know that this is the preferred mode of learning for each of my participants, and they've been able to, because this is the world we live in. It was back then that we do one size fits all. We just put everybody in the classroom. If we're going to get value from it, we need to actually adapt learning to each participant, how we can put that together. Also, a good way to now be able to maximize the value, just like Mr. Liami mentioned, is now doing a post-evaluation. And Mr. Liami did a very good job when he did the case study training session that he did. And he mentioned using those frameworks. And that Kirkpatrick is a very good one. Let me round off so that I don't get stuck too much. But that Kirkpatrick model is a very good one, where you actually get to be able to evaluate properly, what you've learned. All right, measuring the reaction of the participants, now measuring, what's their feedback, measuring the impact of that particular training as well. So I think that would also help us to measure what's the impact of the training we've deployed, because one of those things that happens in organization these days is when they are cutting budgets, one of those things they want to cut is L&D, because they all feel that's the go-to place. But no, actually, no. We're beginning to see that there's actually the impact of learning in performance of organizations. And how we can do that is when we can actually defend the fact that when I trained these people, this is the impact. So how do we do that, right? Then we can, if it's maybe the training that we did for the managers is regarding sales, so we can measure and say, before I trained those people, this was the figure they were running with. But then look at 1 month after, 2 months after, 3 months after, this is now the figure. And then we can show that it's as a result of the training that we've done. Then we can now begin to say, yes, L&D is making impact. I've had scenarios where, managers begin to actually commend to say that I'm beginning to see the impact of the trainings you are doing. And then I think I want to send my people for those trainings as well. In that way, it shows that L&D is actually beginning to make impact, and then our budget to be defended. I'm just going to stop here. Thank you very much for the opportunity, sir. Mr. Liami.
Thank you. Tolulope, your comments and remarks to these contributions, and then your closing remarks.
Okay, so thank you, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity once again to be able to contribute my quota to this wonderful platform. I'm so grateful. So we've also shared that, okay, the case study, the business impact, because most of the time the CEOs, they want to see figures. We'll be able to analyze, okay, this is what happened and all that happened. So it's important for us to be able to keep learning as an HR person, as a manager that we're trying to manage other people. We also must not be stopped. We need to make sure that we're also learning, we are relearning, we are understanding, we have this capacity, the competence that we'll be able to let the CEOs also listen to what we want to offer. So once again, I will, on this note, we want to first and foremost wish everyone a happy new month, and also that as we go in this
Hello,
Okay.
Tolulope, just a minute. I think Abiodun Oladimeji may have a question or a comment.
Okay, sir.
So Abiodun, you can unmute and.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Yeah, my name is Abiodun. Thank you, Madam Facilitator. Sorry, I don't know your name. Okay, Madam Tolulope. Thank you. You've done a great job. I joined late, but I have a question. Okay, I transmitted into HR not quite long, but in that department, I noticed our training processes, just like what you said, like we do training, we do that's training feedback. We have a form for training feedback, and then we have a post-training evaluation. Maybe like after 3 months. I think the standard we set is after 3 months you evaluate. What I noticed in my company is like a routine thing. They don't really take it like something they have to do deliberately, like they need, like they don't do it purposely. I see it like it's like a normal process. They just fill the form. And maybe because the HR department can't do much because we are not their technical people, like their architects, their engineers. And when they set up training, it's not something that you can really evaluate. You can't know if any gap has been filled or not, unless what they feel, although their HODs, they fill some paper, I mean, they fill the post-training papers, but it's as if it's something you have to be running after them. It's not something that is done purposely. So I'm thinking in a situation like that, is there something that we can do to make sure there is a return on investment? We can't even measure that because we are not the one involved. Like meant to be done to
Okay.
that.
All right. So first thing first, we talk about actually being clear about the vision and understanding the fact that their line managers need to understand. We need to have their buy-in, and we can also consult, because it's important for us, like Mr. Oluyemi mentioned, that we need to join as HR managers. Which organization, the industry you have, you should find a way of even joining their groups. So you can have someone like your friend as more like a consultant that can measure that, okay, this thing, how can I measure this particular training in this particular aspect? Then another thing is, if someone is not interested in a training, it's possible they can go for the training, they won't even listen, they might not even go, they'll just Google and give you your what you are looking for in the form. So we need to understand, do they really need this particular training? Do they understand why, or they just feel it's just like, sometimes it's just like, it's part of my benefit in the organization. Yes, it is, but it's for us to be able to get to know where we are going to. So it's important to have this sit down and understand that these line managers as well to let us have this conversation so that we know that this person, is he really interested in this? Does the person really craving or self-developing? Does the person really have good appetite for this training? And this person wants to build career, or is this person in this job for now just to pass time? So we know that because these are investments, so we'll be able to recoup our investment. I know Mr. Oluyemi might want to also add this.
I think my colleague Oluwafemi Aluko would like to say something. Oluwafemi, you have the floor.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, Dolu, for that. What I will add to what you said is that I think we can also tie this to someone's KPI. All right. When they know that measuring the impact is part of my KPI, I'm sure they're going to pay more attention to it. Can also tie it to the manager's KPI to show that, okay, so the impact of what you've learned, how have you utilized it? So each training, you need to show us how you've utilized the trainings, the lessons learned. I'm sure they will now begin to pay, both parties, both the HR and the managers will now begin to pay attention to, the implementation of the things they've learned. Thank you.
Fantastic. I'll just add one or two things to what Tolulope and Oluwafemi Aluko has said. Again, one thing is very important, very germane here. We need to always have an appreciation of the competencies and the competency level of our employees. So let me quickly give an example here so that we are clear, a very simple example. So take Excel. Let's assume that there are 4 levels of Excel. You can either be basic, intermediate, proficient, and master or advanced. just to simplify this conversation. So in that architectural field, what competencies are important to us? That's one. Now, let's take attention to detail as a competence. I'm making this up. I've not worked in architectural firm before. Now, how do you calibrate to say this is someone who has the basic attention to details, intermediate attention to details, proficient attention to details, and mastery or advanced attention to the details? Before the training, was this employee or this set of employees, where were they on basic, intermediate, proficient, or mastery? After the training program, there can now either be like an exercise, it can be a real work that maybe a partner or a senior associate can now grade and say, oh, prior to this set of learning interventions, this person was operating with respect to attention to detail on an intermediate level, now is at proficient, or was operating at a basic level, now is at intermediate. So our calibration must be very near accurate, because if we are just using BOJ means best of judgment, we're just using is like no, let's make it as empirical as possible. And that is why we also need to train our managers so that when they are providing feedback, it is not based on sentiment. It's not based on, oh, I like Oluyemi or I don't like Oluyemi. If you like Oluyemi and my capabilities in certain areas is poor, I'll be graded poor. If you don't like Oluyemi and my capabilities in certain areas are intermediate, it will be graded as intermediate. And I think copiously, our facilitator had alluded to that across the multiple areas touched on today. Thank you so much. Tolulope, finally, your closing remarks. And this is real closing.
Okay. All right. Once again, thank you so much, sir. And thank you for everybody that joined. And my closing remark is for us to just keep learning at a go. Let them see, especially our CEOs, let them see that we are competent enough, we are capable to deliver and what we are saying. Then let's also try as much as possible to work in our analytics so we can be able to show them the figures of what are the things, and they will know that, oh, really, it's an investment, it's not an expense. Because that's the challenge with HR and CFO. They will say it's an expense, but we know that it's an investment. So once again, thank you so much. HR mentorship, let's not work on this journey alone. Let's invite other people. Let's share this across. And once again, I want to appreciate our mentor indeed, Mr. Oluyemi Adeosun, for what he's doing, and we pray he will continue to do better and better. And thank you so much for everybody that is saying thank you. I can see on the chat group, thank you so much. Have a wonderful and profitable week ahead.
Good night. Have a profitable week ahead. Bye.
Good night, sir. Good night, everybody.